Welcome back. So in this section, we're going to be diving into the model and how to apply it by exploring a common situation. So I'm going to tell you a story. The other day, I arranged to meet my friend and colleague Bob at a cafe because we're working on a project together. So we arranged to meet on Friday, 12 o'clock. Now at this particular cafe. Now I arrived early enough to find parking because it's a busy area. Make my way to the cafe in time to get us a nice quiet corner table. And I was seated and ready by 12 o'clock so we could just dive into the project. But no Bob. So I caught up on a few texts and 5 past, 10 past, no Bob. Read some emails, tried to call him, text him, no answer, no Bob. Now, obviously you don't know the nature of my relationship with Bob, if we've got any past history, you don't know the context. But I invite you to kind of put your drama hat on and let's amplify this up to some reactivity so that we can see how the model applies in many situations. So before we actually get diving into the model itself, I want to address this idea of being triggered. It's quite a common word these days that people use to say, I feel triggered by that, or you triggered me, or that triggers me. Think about the meaning of what triggered actually is. It implies that someone's pointed a gun at you and pulled the trigger, which kind of means it's their fault. So if I'm going to manage my own reactivity, I need to own it. And so I like to think of it in terms of landmines. I've got landmines in my system that are planted there through my own past history and experiences. And when I'm reacting to a situation, maybe somebody has said or done something that activates or sets off one of those landmines. They may or may not realize that has happened, and I may or may not realize. So this is about increasing my awareness of when and why I'm reacting to certain situations. Now you may like to pause the video and just reflect on this for a few moments, this triggered versus landmines. Think back through times in your life when you've really reacted to a situation. Just see if this rings true for you. It may not. So exercise 4 just invites you to contemplate this in the workbook if you choose, if you'd like to go into it a little bit further. So when I am in a very reactive state, and I don't wish to be, then I need to self-regulate. I need to bring myself back into balance, and everybody's different. For me, slow breathing, mindful breathing may work. For you, it may not. So again, just pause the video, look at exercise 5, and maybe just jot down a few things that you are aware of that help you to bring your nervous system back into a state of calmness and balance so that you can pull back from the reactivity and step into responsiveness. Here are just some suggestions. They don't work for everybody, as I said. So really it's about developing your own personal self-regulation menu. That can involve some kind of breathing. It might involve some physical activity. Maybe you're someone who likes to share what's going on for you with a trusted confidant. Sleeping on it is always good advice. And anything. Even sometimes just a bit of avoidance and trying not to think about it for a while. So this is the fun bit. Now I'm sitting in this cafe, I'm waiting for Bob, I've been waiting there a while, I'm a really busy person, I really want to get on with the project, and I'm going into reactivity. So again, I'd like you to put on the drama hat and pretend to be me. And just think about what kind of thoughts might come up. What thoughts might I be having about Bob, about myself, about the situation while I'm waiting for him and unable to contact him? Now there's 3 ways of dealing with our thoughts that we habitually deal with our thoughts. One is just to suffer the rumination. Another one is to suppress the thoughts and just try not to think, which is a effective short-term strategy sometimes, but it's not a healthy long-term strategy. and also not healthy to mask those thoughts, cover up those thoughts. That includes avoidance through things like alcohol. So instead of suffering, suppressing, or masking my thoughts, I'm going to step back and allow my thoughts, really allow them. Not identify with them, just step back, and these are parts of me that are thinking this way, and I'm going to listen to my thoughts because these are actually beautiful windows into what really matters to me. So I invite you now to pause the video and look at exercise 6 in the workbook. Pretend to be me or different versions of me, depending on what state of reactivity you might imagine me being in, and just write down all the thoughts that I might be having about Bob, or about me, or about the situation. For example, oh, he's so unreliable. So just write down the thoughts. And here are some thoughts that a previous group I worked with came up with. You can see there's a whole range of thoughts here, from thinking that Bob's unreliable, that he's wasting my time, to worrying about him. Something could have happened. What now? Or I might even be like, wow, great, I've actually got some time to catch up with things. I'm behind on some other stuff. So, or I might even be having some thoughts about how Bob feels towards me. Maybe he doesn't like me. So there are so many things that I may be thinking. And in the next section, we're going to show you now how to apply the model to this type of situation, or any situation that I'm having thoughts and reactivity about. See you in the next section.